Hello, dear friends. Although I don't believe in the Vatican, which hides much information from us in its secret library, I welcome any ceremony for peace from any spiritual tradition in order to exorcise war. A phrase from Fatima that was constantly repeated at school has stayed with me from my childhood, in quotes. Tell the Spaniards to pray the rosary, or I will use Russia to punish them. Close quotes. In other words, we had to pray out of fear and not out of devotion. In my opinion, the Mother symbolizes the Kundalini energy that produces the illumination of the humankind when it ascends through the central channel of the spinal column. Maximum respect to all spiritual traditions because they have their share of truth, and it is better to focus on what unites us and not on what separates us. Opinion piece. Consecration of Russia and Ukraine. It means blessing both peoples. Stop all war in this world now. There is controversy over this ceremony. Russia and Ukraine have a Marian tradition. It is a war between two Christian peoples. Let's start. Peace in Ukraine was pleaded Friday by Pope Francis during a ceremony in which he evoked a centuries-old apocalyptic prophecy about peace and Russia sparked by alleged apparitions of the Virgin Mary to three shepherd children in Fatima, Portugal in 1917. Francis, on Friday, consecrated Russia and Ukraine to the Immaculate Heart of Mary in a ceremony at the Vatican in which he called for peace and condemned the destruction wrought by the war. The Liturgy for Peace was celebrated at the same time in St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican and in Fatima, Portugal. The Latin Rite Catholic bishops of Ukraine asked the Pope to perform the consecration in the midst of the war. Ukraine and Russia consider themselves Marian, as indicated by their heritage, their feasts, and the devotion of their peoples. But there is great power in remembering him before her and asking for help in a difficult moment. It is an upset war between two Christians and Slavic peoples. I highlight a phrase from the ceremony in quotes. We have lost the path of peace. We have forgotten the lesson of the tragedies of the last century, the sacrifice of millions falling in the world wars. We have neglected the commitments undertaken as a community of nations, and we are betraying the dreams of peace of the peoples and the hope of the young. Close quotes. History. In her alleged operations in 1917 to the three little shepherds, Our Lady of Fatima asked that Russia be consecrated to her Immaculate Heart. John Paul II fulfilled the request for the consecration of Russia in 1984. At that time, Ukraine and Russia were part of the Soviet Union. Pius XII consecrated the entire world to the Immaculate Heart of Mary in October 31st, 1942, and John Paul II renewed that consecration on May 13th, 1982, again on March 25th, 1984, and once more on October 8th, 2000. In October 2013, Francis renewed the consecration of the world to the Immaculate Heart of Mary and dedicated his pontificate to Our Lady of Fatima. Definition. To consecrate is to offer, dedicate, bless, and sanctify. To consecrate means to make someone or something sacred. A person or nation that is consecrated is set aside for a holy purpose. To commend means to charge someone to do something or to take care of something or someone. That is, to ask, charge, request, and entreat. To entrust means to surrender, trust, and abandon oneself. The Marian Feast of the Annunciations, celebrated on March 25th, is an important celebration in the Roman Church, and Saint Louis de Montfort recommended this special date for personal consecration of Mary. The Feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary was first observed by Saint John Eudes and received papal approval in the early 19th century. In 1944, the Marian Feast was placed on the general Roman calendar for August 22nd, the day of the Assumption of the Vision. Mary's heart is depicted with 7 wounds and pierced by a sword. The initial devotion was exemplified by Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, but the modern devotion was founded by Saint John Eudes, a 17th century French priest. Rumors of war. First, Borrell believes that in 2 weeks it will be decided who wins the war. Second, Prague will ask the European Union for financial aid to help refugees. Third, Poland ends all sanitary restrictions. Fourth, Biden hints to US soldiers that they will be in Ukraine. Fifth, NATO considers deploying troops to western Ukraine where Russian troops are not operating. Sixth, more than half of the Belgian mercenaries who went to Ukraine returned. They decided to return after the Russian attack on the Yavorovsky military polygon in Lvov province. 7. Biden says food shortages are going to be real as price of sanctions against Russia. 8. Biden deploys a doomsday plane after Russia links his son to Ukraine, according to Sorchafal. Russia warns that it will immediately react to any attempt to create a no-fly zone over Ukraine. Second, Russia said Friday it completed the first phase of its military operation. Troops will now focus on eastern Donbass. Third, Moscow Stock Exchange reopens after almost a month with 4.4% rise. Fourth, Russia publishes secret documents of the Ukrainian National Guard with a preparation plan for an offensive in the Donbass. Fifth, the United Nations Security Council doesn't approve the draft of a Russia resolution on a ceasefire to evacuate civilians. Economy. First, Wall Street calms down after weeks of volatility due to the war. Second, United Nations fears war will cost 1 point of global economic growth. The UN on Thursday lowered its global economic growth forecast for 2022 by 1 point, from 3.6% estimated 6 months ago to 2.6%, due to the severe impact of the war in Ukraine, which is already taking its toll with high prices in the energy and food markets. Third, what are the consequences of the transition from payments to rubles for Russian gas? The price of gas in Europe was quick to react and exceeded $1,350 per 1,000 cubic meters in stock market operations. Fourth, Biden promises more gas to Europe to escape from Russian fuel. Fifth, The US agrees with the EU, it's European Union, to deliver 68% more gas to reduce its dependence. 6. Gasoline and diesel prices fall after 11 weeks of increases. 7th. Germany tackles energy hikes with tax relief and subsidies. 8th. Germany will give €300 to pay for the increase in electricity prices and will reduce fuel taxes. Spain. First, Spain and Portugal agreed to cap energy prices. Second, the European Union accepts the Iberian singularity to deal with the price of electricity. Third, small transporters challenge the Spanish government and maintain an indefinite strike. Crumbling. All life is moving more and more into a higher frequency as energy continues to flood the planet from cosmic source. And yes, indeed, the fifth dimensional sun is now expressing itself more and more. And as such, everything is coming down around the three-dimensional illusion. The house of cards is crumbling faster and faster. Those who have been in the shadows, who have withheld the truth from the population, are now being forced to come forward with this information, even though they do not want to. They cannot withhold it because they believe they have to present this information to maintain control. Because the truth will be presented as this information is presented through the internet and through many sources. And as the truth comes to light, those who have tried to contain it are falling and failing fast. This cannot be stopped, no matter what the dark forces try to do. They are no longer in control. Within the illusion, they appear to be in control, but they are not, because the illusion of the three-dimensional matrix is just that, a deception. It is coming out of reality more and more. Those of the light forces are many steps ahead of the dark ones, so that they can see what is coming, even before they put this plan into action. And as the dark forces attempt to bring total chaos to the planet, the chaos that they then intended to bring their order to, they can no longer do so. Yes, they can provide the chaos, but it is not they who give the order. It is you yourself when you accept it. Chaos is coming to an end. However, first there will be more chaos. More apparent chaos, to be precise. It is not chaos for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. It is simply the dropping of the veil of illusion more and more. And you are all in place now, just as you intended to be many thousands of years ago, when you volunteered to be here. You are in place now exactly where you are meant to be. And many more of you will feel the call now to move forward in your mission, whatever it may be. However you feel you can contribute, now is the time to do so. Find your mission within your heart. Listen to the call of your higher self, that is now not only whispering but beginning to scream at you more and more. Listen to those whispers and cries, for it is all up to you, the collective you, as to how this will continue to unfold. Know that each and every one of you has the inner power to blow up the system. Time is up. Asian Time is Up by Jennifer Crockett. The time for the slow turning of the wheel is over. Humankind was given the opportunity to move gracefully into self-mastery and understand the complexity of its overall situation, the light and the dark, in a gentle way, providing many opportunities to move into self-mastery, to practice holding its center, its intuition. That time is gone now. Those who didn't take advantage of the opportunity will now learn in a much more difficult way. The emotional overload will be significant, and the light workers will become the first responders. All those who didn't take the opportunity to learn slowly will have to learn and assimilate an enormous amount of shocking information in a very short time. Their inner world will resemble the images of hell that you have seen in paintings. They will rely on our light workers for comfort, compassion, kindness, and self-forgiveness to alleviate the impact that threatens to overwhelm them. Be kind to yourself must be a first priority, but put on your own oxygen mask first. That means making sure your energy is high, that you have enough willingness to share, kindness to share. If you are tired and grumpy, exhausted, angry, or frustrated, then the person who needs your loving kindness is you. Put yourself first, or you will exhaust yourself too quickly to help anyone. Have good rest and good food. Thanks a lot, dear friends.